It may be dangerous to be America's enemy, but to be America's friend is fatal. That chilling quote from Henry Kissinger may have been uttered in a different era, but for Ukraine, it just became brutally real. For years, Ukraine was seen as a symbol of democratic defiance against authoritarian aggression. Billions in military aid, bipartisan applause from Capitol Hill, and unity across NATO. But now, with one strategic pivot, Donald Trump could be preparing to throw it all away. A dramatic reversal. Once he championed aid to Kyiv, now he appears ready to cut a deal with Vladimir Putin that would reshape not just Europe, but the world order itself. Sources from inside diplomatic circles paint a startling picture. Trump's team has reportedly floated an offer that reads like a Russian wish list: recognition of Crimea as part of the Russian Federation, effective control over 20% of Ukraine's land, and full sanctions relief for Moscow. That alone would be enough to shock the global community. But there's more. The plan also allegedly includes banning Ukraine from ever joining NATO, essentially confirming a Russian veto over Ukraine's future. And the kicker? A large-scale pullback of U.S. military personnel from NATO's Eastern Front. Troops who've acted as a deterrent against further Russian aggression may soon be packing their bags. Let's talk numbers. Poland. Approximately 14,000 U.S. troops. Lithuania. Approximately 4,000 Romania. Approximately 3,300 Latvia, Estonia, Slovakia, Hungary, Bulgaria. All host significant U.S. forces as well. The collective message this sends? A rollback of American commitment to Europe's security, all in exchange for uncertain gains elsewhere. And what is Trump asking for in return? A realignment. A repeat of a Cold War masterstroke. Flip one enemy to contain another. Back in the 1970s, the U.S. reached out to Mao's China to divide the communist bloc and isolate the Soviet Union. It worked. Kissinger's triangular diplomacy changed history. Trump wants to play the same hand, only this time, it's in reverse. He hopes that by offering Russia everything it wants in Ukraine and NATO, he can peel it away from China. But geopolitics doesn't repeat, it echoes. And this echo feels distorted. In the 1970s, China and the USSR were bitter enemies, nearly going to war in 1969. Today, Russia and China are pragmatic partners. They may not trust each other completely, but they cooperate where it counts: oil, weapons, tech, and diplomacy. Look at the data. 2023, Russia-China trade hit $240.1 billion. 2024, it rose to $244.8 billion. Even in early 2025, amidst global instability, they've already logged $71.12 billion in trade in just 4 months. China accounted for over half of Russia's total imports and over a third of its total exports in 2023. This isn't a fling. It's a long-term marriage of convenience, and they're strengthening it with action. March 2025 saw yet another round of joint naval drills, the 7th Marine Security Belt exercise, alongside Iran. This isn't just symbolism, it's power projection. Meanwhile, energy is flowing from Russia to China like lifeblood. Crude oil imports in 2024 alone were worth $61.66 billion. And when you control energy, you control leverage. Against this backdrop, Trump's attempt to woo Russia feels less like a masterstroke and more like a desperate gambit. The reality is harsh. Russia knows what it gets from China. It's immediate, tangible, and politically aligned. What Trump offers is uncertain, reversible, and likely to expire with his presidency. Still, Trump pushes on. Why? Because Ukraine is becoming too expensive. The war is dragging. American voters are fatigued. China, not Russia, is viewed as the real threat. Trump and some in his camp believe America should stop babysitting Europe and focus on Asia. But there's danger in that calculation. As America steps back, others rush in. In November 2024, the Biden administration authorized Ukraine to strike inside Russia with long-range missiles. That raised the stakes dramatically. Kyiv hit targets in Bryansk and Kursk. The Kremlin saw this not as a Ukrainian action, but as NATO aggression. Vladimir Putin has warned repeatedly, weapons like the ATACMS and Storm Shadow require NATO technical support. In Russia's eyes, when Ukraine fires them, it's a NATO finger on the trigger, which is why, in late 2024, Russia revised its nuclear doctrine. The new policy lowers the threshold for using nuclear weapons, even against non-nuclear nations, if they're backed by nuclear powers. It's legalese that opens the door for escalation. And the message is clear: push us far enough and we'll go nuclear. Soon after, a nuclear-capable missile landed in Dnipro. No warhead, just a threat. And then, a drone slammed into the Chernobyl sarcophagus. The IAEA found 300-plus holes in the radiation shield. No leaks, thankfully. But the symbolism? Terrifying. The world is teetering, and Trump wants to cut a deal in the middle of it. To sweeten the offer for Moscow, he's gone further. Reports suggest Trump is negotiating the withdrawal of U.S. troops from every NATO country that joined after 1990. That includes Poland, Romania, Hungary, Slovakia, and the Baltics. From the Kremlin's point of view, it's a dream come true. Another card Trump is playing? U.S. aid. Since 2014, America has given Ukraine $69.7 billion in military assistance. But by March 2025, over 80% of USAID programs worldwide had been slashed. Diplomacy, development, democracy promotion, all gutted. That too is a signal to Russia. We're done pushing democracy at your doorstep. It's not just about war, it's about ideology, about soft power, about saying, we won't interfere anymore, if you play ball. But Moscow's answer remains unclear. Why? Because Trump's deal isn't just transactional, it's temporary. Putin knows Trump's days are numbered. Another president could reverse everything. Why ditch China for an unstable bargain? And let's not forget Europe. NATO allies already feel betrayed. Trump's rhetoric and possible withdrawal of troops sends a message. You're on your own. Replacing America's military presence? Experts say it would take 25 years and cost between $226 billion and $344 billion just in equipment. Over $1 trillion with maintenance and personnel. That's a quarter century of vulnerability. And if the deal fails, Trump gets nothing, but burns everything. Ukraine abandoned NATO, fractured America's credibility, shattered in diplomacy. Credibility is currency. Once you lose it, allies stop believing in you. Enemies stop fearing you, and the world becomes more dangerous. Kissinger understood balance. He didn't hand out concessions without guarantees. Trump's approach seems to rely more on instinct than strategy. His peace plan is high risk, low reward, a gamble that could dismantle decades of careful diplomacy. And for what? The hope that Putin might turn against Xi Jinping? That hope seems naive. Beijing and Moscow don't need to be soulmates. They just need to share the same enemy, and they do, America. And as they draw closer, Trump's actions might do more than lose Ukraine. They might forge the very alliance he's trying to prevent. In geopolitics, alliances aren't broken by bravado. They're broken by betrayal. Trump may believe he's playing 4D chess, but the pieces on the board are real countries, real people, real consequences. If he sacrifices Ukraine for a handshake with Putin, the world may wake up to a new era, one where America no longer leads but lingers, watching, powerless, while its rivals build a world in their image.